Have you ever looked up at the stars and wondered what's out there? Or imagined a future powered by clean energy, where humanity's reach extends beyond this planet? One man didn't just wonder, he dedicated his life to making it a reality. But his story isn't a simple tale of success. It's a saga of breathtaking risks, crushing failures, and a relentless will that refused to break. This is the story of Elon Musk. Our story begins not in a futuristic lab, but in Pretoria, South Africa, during the turbulent years of apartheid. A young Elon was different. He was a quiet, awkward boy who found solace not in playgrounds but in the pages of books. He devoured science fiction, encyclopedias, anything he could get his hands on. While other kids were playing outside, Elon was teaching himself to code. At just 12 years old, he created and sold his first video game, Blastar, a glimpse of the entrepreneurial fire that was already burning within him. But his childhood was far from idyllic. He was relentlessly bullied at school, an experience so severe it once landed him in the hospital. Home wasn't much of a sanctuary either. He had a difficult relationship with his father, a painful chapter he rarely speaks about. These early struggles forged a sense of resilience in him, a thick skin that would prove essential for the battles ahead. He knew South Africa wasn't the place where his dreams could take flight. He saw America as the land of opportunity, the place where impossible things could happen. So at 17, with little more than a backpack and a burning ambition, he left for Canada, a stepping stone on his journey to the United States. He enrolled at Queen's University before transferring to the University of Pennsylvania. He wasn't just studying, he was absorbing knowledge, formulating a plan. He identified 3 areas he believed would most affect the future of humanity: the internet, sustainable energy, and space exploration. A pretty big to-do list for a college kid, right? He briefly enrolled in a PhD program at Stanford to study physics, but the siren call of the 90s dot-com boom was too loud to ignore. He dropped out after just 2 days. With his brother Kimball, Elon took a leap of faith. They started a company called Zip2, basically an online city guide for newspapers. This was before Google Maps, before Yelp. They were coding day and night, sleeping in the office, showering at the local YMCA. They were pouring every ounce of their being into this venture. The hard work paid off. In 1999, Compaq acquired Zip2 for over $300 million. Elon, still in his late 20s, walked away with $22 million. For most people, that would have been the happy ending. Settle down, enjoy the wealth. But for Elon, it was just the beginning. He immediately rolled almost all his winnings into his next venture, XCOM. His vision was to revolutionize the banking industry with an online financial service. It was an audacious goal. The company eventually merged with a competitor called Confinity, which had a little email payment product called PayPal. The merger was rocky. There were internal power struggles, disagreements over technology, and while Elon was on his honeymoon of all things, the board ousted him as CEO. It was a brutal betrayal. But even from the outside, his influence remained. When eBay bought PayPal for $1.5 billion, Elon's stake made him a fortune, netting him around $180 million. Now he had the capital to chase the truly gargantuan dreams, the dreams that had been with him since he was that boy reading sci-fi novels in South Africa. First, Mars. He believed that for humanity to have a long-term future, we had to become a multi-planetary species. He went to Russia to try and buy refurbished intercontinental ballistic missiles to send a greenhouse to Mars. The Russians, to put it mildly, didn't take him seriously. They laughed at this young internet millionaire, spat on and dismissed. He flew home. On the flight back, a thought struck him. If they won't sell him the rockets, he'd have to learn to build them himself. And so in 2002, with $100 million of his own money, SpaceX was born. Everyone thought he was insane. Veteran aerospace engineers, NASA officials, fellow entrepreneurs, they all said it was impossible. The industry was a graveyard of failed startups, but Elon pressed on. The first SpaceX rocket, the Falcon 1, failed to reach orbit. The second one failed. The third one, carrying NASA satellites, also failed, exploding in a fiery catastrophe. This was Elon's darkest hour. He was out of money. His other company, Tesla, was also on the brink of collapse. His personal life was in turmoil. He was going through a painful public divorce. The press was having a field day, calling him a failed fool. He later said, "I'd put my last money in. I had to borrow money for rent." It felt like everything he had ever worked for was turning to ash. This was the moment that would have broken anyone else. But this is where the story turns. With just enough money for one more launch, SpaceX prepared the fourth Falcon 1 rocket. The pressure was immense. If this one failed, it was all over. September 28, 2008. The rocket lifted off. Stage 1 separation, success. Second stage ignition, success. The team in the control room held their breath. And then the call came through. Falcon 1 has reached orbit. The room erupted. Tears, cheers, pure, unadulterated relief. Against all odds, they had done it. SpaceX had become the first privately funded company to put a liquid-fueled rocket into orbit. Just weeks later, NASA awarded them a $1.6 billion contract to resupply the International Space Station. The gamble had paid off. Simultaneously, he was fighting another war with Tesla. He hadn't founded Tesla, but he joined as an early investor and chairman, quickly becoming the driving force behind its vision. The goal, to create a high-performance electric car that people would actually desire, proving that EVs could be better than gasoline cars. The development of their first car, the Roadster, was plagued with production delays and massive cost overruns. By 2008, Tesla was hemorrhaging cash, just like SpaceX. It was Christmas Eve 2008. Tesla was hours away from bankruptcy. Elon had to make a choice. Let one company die to save the other or risk losing both. He pushed all his remaining chips to the center of the table. He wired his last personal funds to Tesla. At the very last minute, the company's investors reluctantly matched his funding. Tesla was saved from the abyss by the skin of its teeth. From that crucible of 2008, a new era was born. SpaceX went on to achieve things once thought impossible. They developed reusable rockets that land themselves back on Earth, dramatically lowering the cost of access to space. They launched American astronauts from American soil for the first time since the space shuttle retired. They are now building Starship, the vehicle designed to finally take humanity to Mars. Tesla, once a joke to the auto industry, became the most valuable car company in the world. They made electric cars cool, forcing the entire industry to pivot towards an electric future. And Elon wasn't done. He co-founded Neuralink to create brain-computer interfaces and the Boring Company to solve urban traffic with a network of tunnels. His journey is far from over, and it's certainly not without controversy. His management style is notoriously intense. His use of Twitter has landed him in hot water more than once, and his grand ambitions have attracted as many skeptics as they have followers. But you cannot deny the scale of his impact. This is a story about more than just building companies. It's a story about the power of an idea, about unwavering conviction in the face of overwhelming doubt. It's a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure failure, to stare into the abyss, and to choose to fight for one more day. From a bullied boy in South Africa to the man launching rockets to the stars, Elon Musk's story is a reminder that sometimes the ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who actually do. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more stories of incredible people and ideas. We'd love to have you with us on the journey. See you next time.